We're watching films on the toilet, because that's what dads have to do. When the movie's unsuitable for your kids, then pretend you need a number two. If you need a break from your family or spouse, there's a lavatorial picture house. Watch Terminator 2 while you're sitting on the loo. Enjoy the whole of Rambo 4 with your trousers on the floor. We're watching films on the toilet. How about you?
Feels like a while.
Has been a while.
Has been a while, hasn't it?
You went on holiday.
I went on holiday.
Then we came back. I did one show to sort of steer the program back on track.
Re-grease the wheels.
Yeah, that was so
successful.
So difficult. I need to take a break. I need to go on holiday.
Went Florida, didn't I?
You did go to Florida.
That's pretty good. It's pretty good.
See any celebrities out there?
No, so a lot of mobility scooters.
Oh yeah, it's funny. Disney World is Florida. Disneyland is LA, isn't it? So you're not going to see. You might see, I guess, the kind of celebrity you'd see in Florida. I imagine would be someone like Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Yes.
What's the highlight for you?
The ride called the Velocicoaster, which was it goes to you go up 70 miles an hour, and it reminded me. There's that part in Top Gun Maverick when Tom Cruise first does the run, to show them it's all done. And there's a lot of sort of side to side. It was like that. It was mental and 6Gs or something. So that was really good. I did that a couple of times. And
was it also scary, like Top Gun, in that you thought Scientologists might slowly steal your wealth?
Yeah, they did. Like while I was on the ride, you put all your stuff in a locker. And then when you come out, Scientology's taking it.
And they put you and your family into what can only be described as slave labour conditions.
I've actually been meaning to speak to you because I know we've both had forms of therapy before. And it sort of means I'm not allowed to talk to you anymore because I don't accept psychiatry. So...
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a Scientologist, but I also think psychiatry is a total racket.
We can be friends then.
Yeah. Well, just get over it, I say.
You know what, Eamonn? You're almost as alpha male as the entire cast of the film that we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah.
Almost.
There's some testosterone in that lineup, I can tell you.
Some human growth hormone up in that lineup.
Oh, God. Yeah. Some tren. That's a steroid. I looked it up.
Tren.
Yeah.
Tren. It sounds like Frankenstein in the Bride of Frankenstein. He says, friend. I imagine if you want Tren, you have to ask for it like Frankenstein. Sorry, mate. I'm trying to really bulk up. Have you got any Tren? Like that.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah, they're very particular drug dealers, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Say it right. Say it right.
But, first of all, we should probably say welcome to Watching Films on the Toilet podcast.
Yes, podcast about, middle-aged dads, young kids. We want to watch some 18 certificate films, for crying out loud. Can't watch them with our children.
No, unless we're...
Well, I mean, we could, but...
Yeah, in the US we could. I could have taken my kids to all the R-rated movies over there, but I didn't.
Yeah. So, this week we've watched The Expendables, or The Expendables, if you're from Plymouth.
The Expendables.
Yeah.
The first of what will be 4 Expendables movies, and in the run-up to the release of The Expendables 4 in late September, we're going to be watching all of them.
Yeah, it's the mini-series, bitch.
Yeah. Woo!
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're going to be talking about that later. First of all, do we have any correspondence?
Yes. I have a letter that came to me into my mailbag, which is distinct and separate from your mailbag.
Okay.
So...
Do you want to read yours first?
I will.
Okay.
Dear Watching Toilets lads, Paddy McGuinness here. I was proper upset when I tuned into your last podcast and heard you asking ChatGPT to make up Paddy McGuinness style jokes. Not because it reflected badly on my sloppy sub-dad joke quality gags, but because I can't believe I hadn't thought to do that myself first. This is because I am an extremely lazy man and I hate doing work. Now that I've divorced my wife, my main focus is hooking up with some dumbass who's good looking in that chavvy kind of a way that is obviously my type. If I'm going to give myself enough time to trawl through the bars of shitty northwest towns to find a slightly overweight women with big jubbly tits and Botox lips with that dark outer line that makes them look like an ass, then I can't afford the time I usually spend writing material. Even if it is just a few minutes before I go on stage to present whatever BBC flagship brand I've somehow managed to weasel my way onto. I've started getting ChatGPT to write my ad-libs for Question of Sport. Fortunately, because AI harvests material from online, the jokes it's producing for me are pretty racist, which of course is completely on brand for me. Yours, Paddy M.
Ooh, wow, he was very honest there, wasn't he? He was he really let it all out.
But he is a very lazy man.
So he said every BBC flagship brand. So what's he done?
Well, he's done Top Gear.
Yeah.
And now he's on Question of Sport.
Two big ones, aren't they?
He's on all these, he's getting all these big like heritage brands. And like, it's really weird because in almost every other broadcaster is going, right, we need to really diversify our lineup. So certainly more women involved, people of colour, people with different sexual identities, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
The BBC have gone the opposite way. They've gone, let's get the most like unreconstructed, like white, borderline like sexist man we possibly can.
Yeah. Danny Dyer.
Yeah, Danny Dyer and Paddy McGuinness.
Paddy McGuinness. Yeah.
It's astonishing. Unless they've seen like his weird tiny head and thought maybe that's some sort of disability.
All right, cool. Well, I've also got some correspondence which was sent to my mailbag. So it goes like this. Hi, watching films on the toilet. Rebecca Ferguson here. Star of some Mission Impossible movies, Dune movies, and lots of other movies. On the last episode of your podcast, Eamonn called me the worst possible word you can call anyone because I starred in The Greatest Showman. He claimed I gave a full-bodied performance, which I would have taken as a compliment if it hadn't been followed by the worst possible word you can call anyone. What he may not know is that I didn't sing any of the songs in the film. That was Grammy Award-winning artist Lauren Allred, which may explain why my performance was so exaggerated. It takes a lot of work to convince the audience that you're performing someone else's material. You really have to embody the artist. I wondered what it would take to convince an audience that Eamonn's voice was actually mine. So I had a go in the bathroom mirror. I started by squashing up my face and pursing my lips as hard as I could, until my face became quite sore, in an attempt to look as unattractive as possible. Then I held my breath for as long as I could, and clenched my fists really tight, until I went all red and I started to sweat. I held that position until the bathroom mirror steamed up and I started to stink. Then, and only then, was I ready to mime along to Eamonn's stupid, annoying voice. I filmed the whole thing and sent it to my friend Jeremy Strong, who said it was the greatest performance he'd ever seen. So there, lots of love to Ben, Rebecca Ferguson.
Okay, I didn't know that.
I did feel like your diss kind of came out of nowhere.
Well, it's a terrible film though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's awful, but, it's not just down to her.
I suppose if you were cast in the Birth of the Nation, which is that white supremacist film
from 1915,
it celebrates the Ku Klux Klan.
She wasn't alive.
No, but this is my point. You can not be a racist, but if you then cast in that film and give a really convincing film, you're ultimately doing wrong.
So you're comparing Birth of a Nation to The Greatest Showman?
Very similar, aren't they? I think they've done an almost equal amount of damage.
I can't argue with that. Rebecca, turns out Eamonn was right. Whew. Eamonn, have you got any toilet news?
I do. So this is in the Guardian, and this is a feature called "You Be the Judge."
I will.
Where two different sides of an argument are posed, and then readers vote on who they agree with.
I thought snowflakes weren't meant to judge.
Well, do you know what? This is the first time I've read The Guardian for ages.
Yeah.
I'm clearly becoming so old. I'll read it now. I'm like, oh my God, so woke. So you be the judge. Should my partner's son put the lid down before flushing the toilet? So there's this guy called Ray. Mm-hmm. He says, my partner Michelle's son David is a good kid. I've known him for the past 6 years while dating his mum. Blah, 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 blah. I've noticed a few differences between the way I raise my children and the way she raised her.
Awkward.
The main one is the main one is David doesn't put the lid down after he goes to the toilet for a number 2. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's like the lid down completely. He says if you flush with the lid up, it releases something called an aerosol plume, a cloud of germs basically. He's 18, still living at home. He claims Michelle never made a big fuss of closing the toilet lid, but I think it's of paramount importance. So then this is the kid's point of view.
Well, so the kid's written in as well?
Yeah, so they get opinions from both of them.
Okay.
So flushing the loo and putting the seat down afterwards isn't a problem for me, but remembering to close the whole lid is. One time Ray came into the bathroom after me and told me that the lid of the toilet should have been closed, and I got a bit triggered by being told to close the lid of a toilet.
Oh, God.
My defence is that I just don't believe that the germs spray up into the atmosphere, or if they do, I don't think they're going to kill us or impact us in any way. When Ray moved in, he was pretty chill at first, but he gradually got a bit more outspoken as he's grown more comfortable. I don't mind him, and we have a good relationship. He's been good to my mum since my dad left us, but obviously there's some things I had to adjust to. Now I have to share the front room with him just so he can watch his detective shows. Okay, anyway, so then the jury of the Guardian readers, should David brush up on his toilet etiquette? So a few people have made their comments. Mm-hmm. So Ray should let this go. So apparently Ray he got so cross, he was so worried about germs landing on his toothbrush, he had to hide his toothbrush in a cupboard. As an adult, David is free to reject David's advice and act as he pleases in his own home, says Kieran. So, Ben, who do you decide with? David, the young man who leaves the toilet open, or Ray?
I feel like Ray's a little OCD kind of.
Yeah.
You know, this I've never really heard about this plume before. Hiding his toothbrush, that seems quite extreme. Mm-hmm. But it kind of depends what he's bringing to the home. Mm-hmm. You know, is this guy supporting David in any way? Is he paying rent? Is he paying his way, or is he just hanging about and sorting out David's mum? Yeah, I get the putting a smile on her face. Mm-hmm. So, what I'd like to know more about that situation before I make a judgment, because if Ray is not putting any cash into the home, mm-hmm. then really he's got no say.
Interesting.
On the other hand, David is 18 years old. Maybe he should be starting to pay some rent or something. Maybe get himself a little part-time job, mm-hmm. pull his weight. So I feel like I need more before I make a judgment. Where are you with this? I
was on David's side until he said he was triggered.
Yes.
Then I just instantly sided with Ray.
No, I had a problem with that. My understanding of the word triggered is it makes you remember something.
I thought it was like it brought back some past trauma.
Yes, that was my understanding of that. So does David have past trauma relating to an open toilet lid, or is he just using that as a kind of broad term for it made me cross? Yeah, exactly. So I think we need to dig down into that a bit more. Because my gut feeling is that he's an idiot kid who's using a word he doesn't really understand what it means. Yeah, I think you might be right. But, if he had, what's it called when you get your head flushed in the toilet? A swirly? Or something like that. A swirly? I've never heard of that. I like it. If he'd been swirlied. They should have forced the mother to decide which one of those men gets to stay in the family home. Yes. That would have been... Maybe that mum should grow a pair of cojones. What's her name? What's the mother's name? Michelle. Does she leave it up? She just doesn't flush. Because she's stuck in the middle, between her son and this new guy. She just doesn't flush at all. If she shuts the lid, she offends her son. If she leaves the lid open, she offends Ray. So she just doesn't flush.
This is the best advert for not getting divorced, because this is like, why would you invite all this distress? If it's like your son, you'd be like, stop doing that thing. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
And they have to, on paper at least, they should do what you say. They might not like it, and if they don't do it again, just say it again louder.
Actually, I have just suddenly grown. I've got sympathy for Ray, because I think if I was to be thrust into a new situation where I had to tolerate someone else's child, I'd find that incredibly difficult.
I think you would struggle.
I would struggle. I would.
You are, how we say, quite particular.
Yeah. Yeah, I you know what? I have high expectations. Mm-hmm. That's what I have. And when people don't meet those...
That's where the old passive aggression comes out.
Triggers me, Eamonn.
Yeah.
It triggers me. So on to The Expendables. The first Expendables film. Eamonn, how did you watch this? Did you watch it on the toilet? Or?
Of course I did. I watched it in 7 chunks.
Nice. I watched it 3 chunks, one of which I downloaded it onto my phone, and I had to watch it on the train. But thankfully, there was a toilet on the train, so I occupied that for a good 45 minutes. Good. And what did you drink for me so that I may give a summary of this film and the time it takes you to do a big old woohoo?
I drank a 6-pack of Budweiser.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool American beers.
Did you wear a T-shirt that was too small for your belly?
Yeah, my belly hung down.
Yeah.
I also was wearing one of those hats with the completely flat. It's like a peaked cap, but the peak was completely flat. There's no curve in it.
Flat?
When I was a kid, every time you got a baseball hat, the first thing you do is really curve out the peak. You need to be like bending the sides.
I know what you mean.
There's a nice sort of arch shape on the peak. Now, absolutely not. That peak has to be as flat as possible.
Yeah, very good. You could rest a beer on that peak, couldn't you?
Exactly. I think it makes people look like idiots, but I wore one anyway.
Did you tell your wife to get off your damn back at any point?
Oh yeah, I was like, I'm going out with my buds. I slammed the front door. Drunk drove to the pub.
Legend. Drinking
the Budweisers on the way.
Absolute legend.
And when I got there, I put the world straight with a couple of good buddies.
Yeah. Did you play some darts?
Yeah, played shot some pool.
Yeah.
Did some cat calling.
Oh yeah. You were outside calling for some cats.
Yeah. Then came home, had a big cry.
Did you get any cats on the way? Did you collect any cats?
No.
You were calling for cats.
Yeah.
So no. Did any come?
No. I.
No, none. You didn't do a very good job of that, did you?
No, that was really an incidental thing that I was saying. That was more of a part of the journey on the way to the crying bit, but you didn't seem to be interested in that bit. You got really sidetracked by the cat calling bit.
Well, yeah.
I think because you like cats so
I do
much.
like cats, so I was quite invested in that part. I wanted to know.
I'd worked quite hard to develop that rhythm and, the journey towards what we thought might be quite a manly ending.
Yeah.
But obviously the crying, didn't care about.
No.
It's really, really like leaning into the cats bits there. Because you really like cats.
Yeah, I was quite excited.
Yeah.
So did you...
No, I didn't, Ben. I didn't meet any cats.
We need to work on your cat calling then.
Yes. Good.
Yeah, excellent. And how long did you wee for?
1 minute and 12 seconds.
I will eliminate this. That's all.
Okay, right, you ready?
Yeah.
Go.
So, Sylvester Stallone, Jason Statham, Dolph Lundgren, Jet Li, Randy Couture and Terry Crews are the Expendables, a group of good mercenaries who only kill bad people like pirates, dictators, goons, and other mercenaries who are bad. The group's handler and resident tattoo artist Mickey Rourke sends them off to an island in the Gulf of Mexico to stop a mean dictator who's being kept in power by corrupt CIA agent Eric Roberts and Stone Cold Steve Austin. What? Whilst gathering intel on the island, Stallone takes a shine to the dictator's daughter because he saw her. And after she's kidnapped and tortured by Eric Roberts, Stallone vows to return to the island and save her. So the team, with the exception of Lundgren, who betrayed them, but that's okay, head back to the island and destroy it and all the bad men. Then they head back to the tattoo parlor to celebrate, and Statham makes up a poem. Far from the end.
Yep, good 58 seconds. Well within your time slot.
I was in and out like Stallone and Statham on the island.
Very much so.
So, Eamonn, I was trying to recall the first time we saw this movie.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it came out around my birthday in 2010.
Yeah.
So in August sort of time. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it felt like quite a big deal. As you know, I'm a big Arnie 80s action movie fan.
Yeah.
So this was pretty big on my calendar, and I think we all had a little bit of Vegas mix.
We
didn't
did, yeah. I think we've explained Vegas mix before, but
we have. So the Vegas mix, in case you don't know, is you buy a 500ml bottle of Coke, or was it?
Yeah, it's usually the 500ml.
You pour out half of it, and you replace that half with vodka. And then you take it into the cinema.
And then when the attendants go in, they go, oh, you've not got any alcohol, have you? And you go, me? No. It's just this bottle of Coke.
Yeah.
I'm not getting drunk. And they go, oh, I'm so sorry.
I mean, they've watched you at the door lob an empty bottle of vodka across the road because how else are you going to get rid of that?
They've watched you fall into the pick and mix concession.
Yes.
But other than that, they have no clue.
You just reminded me. Sorry, before we get into the Expendables, my kids were away last week and I'd been on holiday, so I went to the cinema to catch up with a lot of movies. So I saw Talk to Me, which I very much enjoyed. I saw Oppenheimer, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
I saw Barbie, which I also enjoyed. Three great movies, but I think it was Talk to Me, the first movie I saw. I got myself a pick and mix.
Yeah.
The pick and mix cost more than the cinema ticket.
Jeez Louise.
I didn't think I'd filled out that much. I took it to the counter. I mean, the ticket was only £8, which wasn't bad. Pick and mix, £8.75. £8.75 for pick and mix, Eamonn.
So how many grams was that then? Like 500 grams?
I guess
that's like half a kilo of sweets, yeah.
I went over the top, I guess.
That's like a sugar tax. That's good that it's so expensive.
It was nice, though.
I know we've talked a lot about pick and mix in the past, but I love this subject. Can you just talk me through a couple of your faves?
Mate, there was loads. I'm a big fan of the white mice. And they're quite heavy, aren't they?
Yeah, they got some, a little bit.
You got your rope, what's it? You know what I'm talking about.
Of course they do, yeah. We call them cables in our house.
Red cable. You got your red cable, you got your green cable. You got your sugary cola bottles. You got some of them. You got some jelly beans down at the bottom. You got your strawberries.
What about the peaches? Are you a fan of those?
I do like peaches, but they didn't have any of those. What about what's your tipple?
Oh, I love the cables, but unfortunately, green cables very rare these days.
I had 3 of them.
Oh wow! I'm going to come to your cinema.
Mm-hmm. I mean, bring
that's
your
a good
checkbook,
number,
but you know. Still got a checkbook, Eamonn?
Do they have that machine where it goes?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
I'm always on the fence about this, and I often don't go for these purely because of their weight. And it's like a strip of the sugary. It's like a jelly sweet, but it's wound very tightly, so it's a substantial amount of weight to it. Mm-hmm. And I quite like those. Yeah. But that's a big investment.
It's very good.
That's really half.
I like those.
Well, not half, maybe a quarter of your weight.
It is.
I'm really I'm happy with a cola bottle. Any of the cola bottles. If there's a cherry cola bottle, I'm delighted.
Yeah. I think we're on the same page there. So would you flush the Expendables? Let's get back to the Expendables. If you're still listening...
We should do a spin-off podcast about Pick and Mix. I kind of feel like I'm more passionate about Pick and Mix than I am about films.
I think I might be too.
Yeah.
That was good. Enjoyed
I love
that.
sweets.
Okay, so anyway, as we were saying, we saw this, I guess, 13 years ago. We were really drunk.
Yeah.
And I don't think I realised quite how drunk we are until I watched it again. Because I remember at the time I thought it was terrific.
Yeah.
A real fun ride. Watching it again, it's awful.
Yes. You're quite right. I had exactly the same memory. And as you said, I think we were really drunk. And I think because there was a lot of people, it was like hilarious. Like we were laughing at like how I call the insane violence. And I enjoyed it because of that. But yeah, when you watch it in the cold light of day, it is not good.
I mean, all the jokes are
terrible.
They're just way off.
Yeah.
Way off. And not just the jokes, the kind of, it seems like Stallone has to be involved in some way in every single exchange. But he doesn't give a quip. He'll just sort of, little cut to him laughing.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yes.
Or just kind of, he ends it, but not in a funny way.
Yeah, if you were going to be really like judicious in the editing room, you would have taken all those bits out because they add nothing. Unless, of course, you're the director of the film and it's you who's saying those bits, in which case you would leave them in.
And you're so jacked up throughout production that you probably have no idea what reality is or film.
Yeah, well, so this is because I remember, like, I think even then he was like maybe 60-something.
The promo for this was those very dark, moodily lit images of his insanely torn physique.
So yeah, he would have been 65 at the time.
Wow.
And he was, he looks phenomenal. He's got like a really jacked body.
Yeah.
But it's really funny, like, I don't know if these two things have ever been compared to each other. But do you remember Dad's Army?
Yeah.
There's an episode where they're all trying to look really young. I think they're trying to be conscripted or something. And they did that by dyeing their hair jet black, having really rosy red cheeks and putting cotton balls in their mouth to make them look all plump. And that's what Sly reminded me of. It's like trying so desperately hard to look young, but with like not great tools.
No, not very good tools. Although a man called Tool, who is one of his friends.
Yes.
So Mickey Rourke is called Tool. I actually thought he was... Should we rate the Expendables?
Yeah.
I'd say my favourite was probably Mickey Rourke, just because he was the best actor.
Okay, I think my favourite was...
Or does he count as an expendable, though?
Yeah, tricky. But I'd say no, because he doesn't do any fighting, does he?
Okay, but I do think his acting was the best.
Well...
I mean, he was given a pretty awful monologue about a woman who committed suicide.
Well, he had to sell that. So, in basically, it was him telling that story that convinces Sly to go back to save this woman who he has almost nothing to do with.
Nothing.
But I liked Dolph Lundgren in it because he's just clearly treating the script with the contempt it deserves and being like a real ham. Like he's just...
Dolph was Universal Soldier Dolph,
yeah,
wasn't it?
It was, yeah, just going like nuts. I thought Jet Li was really boring. Like he was...
Oh, they did... we'll get to this, but just the editing in this film in general, the way the action scenes were edited was awful. They were so choppy. And like Jet Li, he's an incredibly talented martial artist. They just sort of chopped around all his work.
Oh, yeah.
It was rubbish.
Well, I mean, I thought, same with Randy.
Yeah, Randy Couture.
It's like, oh, cool, MMA guy. But then you realise, oh, hang on, this is just make-believe. So it doesn't matter that he's brilliant at fighting because he's only pretending.
Yeah, they could have got like Eddie Redmayne or something.
Well, they could have got like Jeff Capes.
Yeah, they could.
He would have been a brilliant expendable.
Threw a fox around the world.
Yeah, he did.
Terry Crews was good fun.
Terry Crews was good.
He was fun.
And you can see why he's gone on to better things.
Yeah, and he had that incredible gun.
Everyone else's career is really in the descent. I think his is pretty much the only one in the ascent. Maybe
Yes.
Statham as well, I suppose.
Well, look, Statham plays a character called Lee Christmas, who's a little bit ridiculous. But,
Yeah.
I mean, Statham, isn't he?
I think it was almost like a parody of a Statham character.
Yes.
He works best when he's like the lone nutter. I think when his silliness is diluted by everyone else doing the same thing,
He was a bit
doesn't
too
really
chill,
work.
wasn't he? He just sort of sat back.
Yeah.
Well, there's that part where he flies the plane away from the exploding island, and he just assumes that Stallone's going to hang on, it's going to run, jump, grab onto the plane and come. Like, if that was you and me, I know you pretty well. Like, if I wouldn't assume you were going to do that. I'd make sure that I was helping you.
Yeah. Yeah. Or I'd be shouting the whole way. I'd be like, wait.
Yeah. Wait. Well, yeah.
And you can actually tell that wouldn't have worked, because if you watch it, there's a scene where there's an actual stuntman jumping on, and you can tell that he misses. Like it cuts before he gets there. He wasn't going to make it. So you see him falling short, cut, Stallone landing inside.
Stallone's on it. But yeah, there was no jeopardy.
Yeah.
There were no personal stakes at all.
If you're going to treat these guys like proper mercenaries, there's absolutely no way they'd go back to rescue someone that they've literally just met.
Not without getting paid for it.
Well, exactly. You have to do a far better job at establishing chemistry between those characters. And they didn't. They couldn't be bothered. So when they were going back, I was like, "What? Why are they going back?" For the woman
who is
what?
waterboarded.
Yeah.
It was horrific. The way women are treated in this movie is horrendous. I mean, you don't like women, but even you have to agree with that.
Waterboarding is too much. It is too much. But it's funny. What that made me think of it's like almost like waterboarding was really in vogue for a while, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There was a time in the early 2000s where people used to really talk a lot about waterboarding.
You know what the new waterboarding is in movies?
What?
It's having a knife stabbed through your hand. And rather than having the knife pulled out, you cut like your hand in half.
Yes.
That's what the new waterboarding is.
I've seen that.
I see that all the time.
That was in John Wick, wasn't it?
It was in John Wick. It was in Extraction 2. It's been in all sorts of things. It was in Gangs of London.
What's the next torture craze going to be? Paper cuts?
Nasty paper cuts.
Paper cuts with lemon juice on.
Maybe. Oh, no, it's standing on a plug.
Yeah.
Standing on Lego.
Good luck to you, Mr. Bond. You're free to go. Of course. I've taken away your socks and shoes, and the warehouse floor is covered in Lego. So good luck.
Classic South African villain, of course.
There he is. He's all...
Make your way across this Lego, if you can.
Oh, you thought it would be so easy that you could brush the Lego aside with your feet. Each piece has been individually super glued down. So bad luck.
Yeah, it might be that.
It is incredibly painful.
Oh, yeah, it's horrible.
One thing, I think at the time, again, when I was drunk, I was just like, this is ridiculous but cool. But watching it again, I was like, this is stupid. It's in the aeroplane. Jason Statham, I don't know if he has to climb out the window or climbs through a hatch.
Yes, and then he shoots the oil, doesn't he?
But it's like there's a machine gun housed in the front of the airplane. And instead of like every other airplane since like 1918, where the pilot pushes a button and it fires a gun, with this aeroplane, someone had to get out of the aeroplane whilst it's flying, walk around into a hatch, manually fire the machine gun from a hole in the nose cone.
It makes sense when you think about it.
I think that, if something that's cool, people don't mind, but that's not cool. It's so stupid.
It really is stupid.
In what felt like a really bad bit of improv, Mickey Rourke is telling Jason Statham he should have a web tattooed on his head.
It did feel almost made up on the set, didn't it?
It did, didn't it? Like he's sort of mumbling a lot. So I just wondered if we could come up with a better tattoo
for Jason Statham.
So Mickey Rourke's with a spider web with a spider coming out of his ear.
Yeah, that's pretty lame.
What about a boiled egg with some soldiers?
Oh, like make his head look like a cracked dippy egg.
Yeah, and there was like the yolk running down, maybe past his eye.
I would have liked Mickey Rourke to have said that.
Like a lot of gangsters have like a teardrop tattoo.
It's egg yolk.
Statham has like egg yolk.
Maybe you could have like a dippy egg on top of your head, and like
Dippy egg.
like a bit of egg yolk coming down the side of your face. How about that?
That's already better.
That's good. 3 holes on the top of his head, so it looks like a bowling ball.
Bowling ball, yeah, that's better. Or he could have Darth Vader's weird crumpled face on the top of his head.
So that when he puts his head down...
It'd be a great introduction to the character if, like, the first time you see him, you see Darth Vader's face, and you're like, "Oh my god!" And then he lifts his head up, and you're like, "Oh, it's Jason Statham."
That would be good. Or he could have like hair tattooed on his head.
Oh man,
A hairstyle.
would that work? Like curtains,
or like a mullet, like it goes down the back of his neck.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty good.
Hey man, let me. I'm gonna tattoo some curtains on your head.
What about like sunglasses?
Like resting on top.
Like he's put his. Like he's put them on top of his head.
Oh, I like that.
He's not wearing them at that moment.
Yes.
I mean, these are all better.
They're all better, aren't they? That took us a minute, I think.
They had millions of dollars.
Minutes of dollars, and he's like,
no script.
Web. Yeah.
And obviously, and of course, there's Statham's poem at the end.
Fuck's sake. I mean,
I love poetry. What?
What
does that mean?
Do you think that is really like a joke between them going, look at this shit we can get away with, and like what suckers these people are watching this?
Maybe. There's also like a 10-minute montage of people planting C4 explosives.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it goes on for ages.
They just keep doing it. So much explosive.
Yeah. It's funny because to begin with, they're like, oh, I'll put one here.
Yeah.
And they'll be really they're really discerning.
Bang, bang, bang.
By the end, they're like putting them on everything. There's one bit where it's like a really directory camera move where it's like one person running down one side, putting it on a load of pillars, and then we like pan across, and it's someone else doing it on a load of other pillars.
A series of like slow motion shots that don't need to be slow motion. Some shots of their muscles.
Yeah.
It's very odd the way it was edited.
Yeah.
It feels like someone tried to rescue it in the edit, but didn't.
Was it Tango and Cash that Stallone massively re-edited?
Yes. I think that was rescued.
So he has a track record, doesn't he?
Of messing up the shoot, I guess.
Messing up the shoot and someone else having to come in and be like, well, I try my best.
Yeah.
It's almost like a collage, isn't it? It's rather than like a series of images that make logical sense. It's like, here's some stuff that's all loosely related. You work it out.
It's like thematically related.
Yeah.
Thematically related.
But that's kind of, it's just like, well, I'm not putting this in order. You do it. Yeah. That's kind of what you're saying.
Yeah. Here's other footage. Make something out of it. I gotta go.
It's so true.
All right, let's do this.
Let's wrap this up.
Eamonn, would you fish the Expendables out like the semblance of a film was clearly fished out during the editing process, or would you flush it away like Stone Cold Steve Austin is flushed into a river of oil when he sets on fire?
Yeah, of course I'd flush this. And what about you, Ben?
Yeah, I would also flush it away. It's a great start to our Expendables marathon, isn't it?
3 to go.
Wow, so the Expendables is heading for the macerating tank of despair.
Yeah, good riddance, I would say.
So now it's time for our top 5. And this time, we are going to guess each other's top 5 Jason Statham character names.
Yeah, it'd be too much of a stretch to go for Jason Statham films.
I like Statham. What I like about Statham is he doesn't stretch himself.
No,
He knows exactly where he fits.
Yeah, that's true.
You got to respect him for that. But yeah, so he has had some incredible character names.
Yeah.
So we will guess each other's top 5. We get 3 guesses. Whoever gets the most gets to pick the next film, although we know what it's already.
Be, yeah.
And the loser gets a forfeit. So the loser gets a forfeit.
Yeah.
So I'll let you go first.
Well, that's very kind, because there's one clear name that stands head and shoulders above the rest.
Is it a duplicate?
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
And that is, of course, Chev Chelios.
Chev Chelios is not only the greatest Jason Statham character name. I would argue it is the greatest movie character name. I'm Chev Chelios.
It's just the best.
There's nothing better.
Chev.
And Crank. I've got a lot of time for Crank and Crank 2.
And going back to what I said earlier, that is the sort of mental energy I think this film should have had.
Yes, definitely.
That kind of celebration and like octane, whereas this was like flat.
But you know what might happen now? I mean, they've made the Expendables 4, but what could have happened now is you hand this over to someone like Sam Hargrave or, Chad Stahelski, proper action director. If they got their hands on this, I bet they could have done a great job. But, Stallone.
Yeah.
Okay, so I get one. This is also a duplicate. Terry Leather.
Yes.
Terry Leather.
Ah, great name.
I'm Terry Leather.
From The Bank Job. Right. Okay, my next one. Jericho Butler.
I haven't picked Jericho Butler. That's Ghosts of Mars, isn't it?
Ghosts of Mars. He's a
It's
sergeant.
strong.
Jericho Butler.
It is a strong name, but I didn't pick that one. Okay, so another guess. I'm going to go with... Okay, it's a duplicate. Lee Christmas.
Yes, I have that.
I mean, it's from the film we just watched, but it's a remarkable name.
I know.
That's the best thing about his character.
It's, yeah, nothing else really. Jericho Butler, by the way, was a double. It's a duplicate.
Oh, okay.
I will say Handsome Rob from The Italian Job.
I did choose Handsome Rob.
Yes.
Is his first name Handsome?
Guess so.
The name's Handsome. Handsome Rob. No, that doesn't work, does it? Name's Bob. The name's Rob. Rob Handsome. That doesn't work either. I can't get it.
Rob Handsome is a realistic sounding name.
Hang on. The name's Bond, James Bond. It doesn't
The
work,
name's
does
Rob.
it?
Yeah, Handsome Rob.
Oh, no, the name's Handsome. No, the name's James.
It's the name's Bond, James Bond. The name's Rob, Handsome Rob.
Yeah, it just doesn't sound right.
Well, no.
The name's Rob. Handsome Rob.
No. I like Rob Handsome. That's better. Right, it's 2-2. You have a final guess. If you get this, you win the whole darn thing.
Agent Evan Funch.
No.
No? Okay.
From the one, no.
Yeah.
It's rock, paper, scissors.
Oh, no.
You've won the last two. So it's 1, 2, 3, and then draw.
Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
You've
Ben
won.
got rock, and I have paper. Brilliant.
Damn it.
Knew you choose rock.
You suck. Well done. So, okay, so what was your top 5?
Top 5. Lee Christmas, Chev Chelios, Terry Leather, Jericho Butler, and Yves Gluon from the Pink Panther.
Ah, okay. That's strong.
And who did you have?
I had Terry Leather, Lee Christmas, Chev Chelios, Handsome Rob, and Nick Wilde from Wild.
Okay.
Good stuff. So what's my forfeit?
For your forfeit, you have to spend an afternoon planting detonators.
You know what? There's nothing I'd rather do.
Yeah. That montage lasted a good 2 minutes, so if you extrapolate that out, you probably spent several hours planting charges.
Did you come up with any Jason Statham character names?
Oh, I didn't actually, but I can try and think of some now. Cramble.
Cran. Well, look.
No, Crandle.
You told me to do some, so I did.
Yeah.
So mine were Ovaltine Nunchuck.
Okay.
Matte Polish.
Oh.
Which is actually quite clever.
Because it's like a...
That's clever, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ian Mineshaft.
Yeah, good.
I'm Ian Mineshaft. And Crowbar. could see that. You could see that in an Expendables.
The name's Bar. Crowbar.
Yeah. The name's Crowbar. So yeah, there you go.
Very good.
I did a thing. You didn't.
I didn't. I've spent all my time on the Paddy McGuinness letter. So I hate him. 'Cause I hate him so much.
Paddy McGuinness wrote that.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Paddy McGuinness wrote that.
Paddy McGuinness wrote that.
Okay, so that's that. So next time we're watching the Expendables 2.
Yeah, brilliant.
Cannot wait. But yeah, thank you for listening. Find us on the social medias, the Instagram, the TikTok, the Facebook, the Twitter, the X.
Oh, yeah.
It's now known.
Truth Social.
We would appreciate if you'd rate us, review us, subscribe to the podcast. We haven't thanked our Patreons, Eamonn.
Yeah. So what action heroes would our Patreons be?
Which Expendable?
Okay.
Mike Foster would be Terry Crews.
Yeah.
You know, you'd be in a sort of a desperate situation and he'd just rock up with a automatic shotgun and take care of business, wouldn't he?
He would, yeah.
Raph would be Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah, the kind of loose cannon.
Loose cannon. You never quite know which way he's gonna go. But in the end, he makes the right choice.
Yeah. I think your dad would be Randy Couture.
Cauliflower ears?
Cauliflower ears and a nice hat.
A nice hat, yeah.
And your mum would be Eric Roberts, the bad guy.
The corrupt CIA agent.
The really bad person in it. That's what she would be.
Don't know where you're going with that.
No.
But yeah, thank you for listening.
Yeah.
So, Eamonn?
Yeah, keep flushing.